Hello.
And welcome to Film Bastards.
All my life I've had to fight. I had to fight my daddy, had to fight my brothers, my cousins, my uncles too. But I never thought I'd have to fight in my own house. I feel sorry for you, to tell you the truth. You remind me of my mama under your husband's thumb. No, you under your husband's foot. What he say go? Why you so scared? I never know. But if a man raise his hand, hell no.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to episode 524 of Film Bastards. My name is Ian Loring, and as always, I'm joined by
Becky Foster. Hello, everybody.
Hello, one and all. Mark will be with us at some point, but he's not home yet, so again, I'm hosting. So I'll probably end up hosting next week as well, because Mark only wants to host even numbered shows.
What
So,
way?
he's a funny one. Yeah, you're betrothed. He really is. So coming up on this week's show, so a little bit of a change from the scheduled programming in a way. So we're going to talk The Colour Purple, the new musical reinterpretation. Mark and Becky are going to talk about The Zone of Interest, because I still haven't been able to get to it. Basically, it's not actually in full release in the UK yet. A24 are doing screenings at weekends for the last couple of weekends. Apparently it actually is out this coming Friday.
Okay.
So at some point I will see it, but I'll be honest, I already know a fair bit about it, and I'm alright these guys chatting about it before it just disappears out of minds. And Mark's going to be making some very provocative and controversial comments, so I think we probably need to make sure that he actually remembers what happened in the film.
He's going to really piss me off, isn't he?
Probably. I think he's probably going to piss a lot of people listening to this off.
Yeah.
So, I genuinely don't know what his problem with it is so far. So we will find out.
I don't either, really. He just keeps saying, "Oh, I have things to say." All right. Any hints? Any spoilers? No, I have things to say. Right. Okay. Whatever.
I think my fire alarm in the downstairs just said something. Lottie, everything all right?
Please be aware, there's smoke in the hallway. The alarm may sound. It's going to be loud.
Just going to check what that is.
Yeah, no worries.
Dawn, you're down there, yeah? Right. Thank you. Well, apparently vegetarian sausages get smoky. Apparently so, yeah. Sorry about that. Okay.
No, it's all good.
So we'll also talk some news, some trailers, what we've been up to. So got at least a couple of Twitter questions I've seen. Okay. We are a Pod Syndicate podcast. Please do listen to like-minded shows such as String Joker vs Punter, The Rewatch Project, The Good, Bad, The Odd, Gaming Landfill, etc. But Becky, I've got a question for you.
Go on.
What is Baghead, and should we be scared of it?
It's not as simple as that.
Okay.
Okay. So I literally only went to see this movie because I found the name amusing. And out of the three of us, I think I'm probably the most forgiving of trashy, shitty horror movies. So I thought if any of us were going to get anything out of it, it was probably going to be me. And I've seen a lot of stuff, very ungenerous stuff about this movie online, so I wasn't expecting very much at all, and that's maybe tempered my enjoyment of it. But a lot of unfavourable comparisons to Talk to Me have been floating around, which I guess you could make that comparison if you wanted to be really fucking lazy, but it's its own thing. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's really fucking good, 10 out of 10 banger horror film of the year, but it isn't anywhere near as bad as people seem to be enjoying making it out to be. So I don't really know how to explain it without being spoilery. I know we're all spoilers all the time, but you've not seen it yet either. So how fussed are you about me spoilering it?
I mean, I'll probably get to it at some point, but I feel like it's probably going to be in the cinema for 1 week and done. So, yeah.
Basically, Iris, the main character, the blonde girl in the trailer, she inherits this pub off her dad, who she hasn't had contacted with in years. She's not doing great. You find out throughout the film that the dad abandoned the family, and she was being raised by her mother. Her mother got cancer and died, and then she went into care. So she's not doing super great. She's got this friend who's lovely and very supportive of her, but also comes from like the same care home, but she seems a bit more together than Iris is. And so anyway, so she gets this call. She goes to Berlin randomly, where her dad is running this English pub called the Queen's Head, which choices were made, obviously, but it's an odd one. But like, it doesn't feel super like the fact that it's based. The house is the pub. Sorry, is in Germany. Doesn't come into the plot, so it's not like it's takes you out of it necessarily. It just seems like it's on some big industrial estate.
Is it just an excuse for like why the film is then shot in Germany for whatever,
for tax reasons,
for
probably.
budget reasons? Yeah, okay, yeah.
So she goes and she meets this super creepy guy at the hospital where she's been to identify her dad, and he's like, oh, sign the property over to me and I can get money for it, and then we'll liquidate the assets, blah blah blah. And obviously she's quite young, so probably would be the thing that makes sense to do, but you know, she asks if she wants to speak to her lawyer first. So she ends up staying a night in the pub. Random creepy guy turns up wanting to speak to the woman in the basement, who obviously she knows nothing about. And then she gradually finds out that the woman in the basement is Baghead, who can if she has to like consume something owned by the dead person, and then she can bring them back to life for you to ask questions to. But if it goes over 2 minutes, then they still retain like the form of the dead person, but she can get free, and the things that she's saying with the face of the dead person are just nasty fucking things. Like it's her again, but in their body.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why there's the 2 minute timer. So the guy offers her money to speak to Baghead because he wants to say bye to his wife who's died.
Do they refer to her as just Baghead? Like it's not the Baghead or Miss Baghead. It's just Baghead.
Well, it comes up a couple of times in the movie.
Right.
Baghead.
Okay.
They don't. They don't like say Baghead like Baghead. I think they call her Baghead. So there's a bit more like. Yeah, you know, it's more enunciated than just Baghead.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's Baghead. So anyway, blah, blah. So she's been struggling for money. This man offers her money to speak to Baghead. So she says, come back tomorrow. Her friend rings her and says, oh, I'm coming across. I've already bought the ticket. The friend that I mentioned earlier. And then he comes back. They don't try and find out any information about the woman in the basement in the interim or anything like that. They just wait for him to come back, and then they take his £4,000 and let him go and speak to Baghead. So he gives it his wife's engagement ring, but then his mum is the face that comes back.
Right.
So obviously he's given his mum's engagement ring to his wife, and that's why Baghead got confused. But yeah, and then it all goes horribly wrong. Like she's talking to him and all this kind of stuff. Turns out she committed suicide, and he's asking her why. And then the timer goes off. No, actually, at this point, Iris doesn't know about the timer because he hasn't told her, and she doesn't know anything about the rules. So it gets past 2 minutes, and then she starts saying, "Oh, it was because of you. I hated every second of being your mother." Blah blah blah. And it's because obviously
now it's just Baghead saying nasty shit.
Saying nasty shit.
Right.
Probably true because he is a bit of a cunt, but
right.
Yeah. So back and forth, they find out a little bit more. Turns out, oh god, there's too much to explain without like really getting into the weeds on it. But yeah, anyway, so turns out this guy's a bad dickhead. He's the one that caused his wife to die because she was going to leave him, so he drugged a drink. But instead of just falling asleep, she went and got in a car, died in a car accident.
Oh dear.
Right. She obviously blames him for her death, but he brings her back once, and she doesn't remember, and she's like, "Oh my god, where am I?" But then he brings her back again, and like I don't know whether like once they've been brought back, they can mull stuff over or whatever. But she's remembered more, and she remembers what happened. But Iris overhears, and so throughout the film you find out that Baghead is actually she's the way that she is because some evil gang of dickhead guys in like the Middle Ages found out this woman could do this, had this power that she could like bring back the dead, and tried to exploit her and make her do that for them, and she refused because she saw it as like an evil power. So they declared her a witch, burned her at the stake, but obviously because she was like super powered, she didn't actually die. So then she became Baghead. So she went from just being a nice lady who didn't want to use evil powers to actual witch that was evil. So because they'd created this thing, they then bricked her into the wall of this building, which then obviously in latter years became a pub, which has been handed down and down between cursed people. Right. And then this brotherhood still existed years down the line, but they'd forgotten how evil she was, so they unbricked it and they started using her again. And then from that point, it's just been whoever's name is on the deed is the guardian of Baghead, and the guardian is the only person that she will obey.
Right, so that guy was like, sign it over to me because he wants Baghead.
Yeah.
Right.
That's, creepy guy. But yeah, so Iris overhears the conversation between a creepy guy and his wife, where she finds out that he actually killed her. And then he notices she's there, so he chases her out up onto the roof. So he's tried to sign the deed with his name to take control of Baghead so that he can force her to bring his wife back at any time that he wants. And she's just not having any of it because the previous guardian isn't dead. So he chases Iris out onto the roof, pushes her off the roof. So obviously then she's dead. Then he goes down, grabs her phone, brings her body into the building, feeds the phone to Baghead to bring Iris back to force her to sign. But it obviously then Baghead is Iris, and Iris is Baghead's guardian. Right. Yeah. Because her name's still on the deed, so no other name has gone on there since because it's not had time yet. So Baghead is Baghead's own guardian at this point. Like she's fucking taken the power back. And yeah, just fucking sets fire to the fucking place and leaves. But like through flashbacks, it's so the Guardian can control the witch up until the witch gets in the Guardian's head, and then it's like who's controlling who.
Right.
So through flashbacks, you kind of find out that from very, very early on, because like you're watching it going, every wrong decision this girl can make, she is making. Like she has not made a single logical, correct decision at any point in this movie. She's just a fucking idiot. Turns out she's actually not. She's just been manipulated by Baghead from like their very first meeting.
Right.
And Baghead's like created this series of events so that Iris would die, she would be fed one of Iris's possessions, and then she would get control over herself. So it's actually like really like clever from that.
Yeah, that sounds like a decent twist. That.
Yeah, it's really good. Like I genuinely wasn't expecting very much of it at all, and it's the ending of it is just like, fuck yeah, you take control of your weird witchy life back. It's like I take it she's in the form of the main girl now. Yeah.
And she fucks off, walks away from the fire, like the end of Suspiria or some shit.
Yeah. So she's when she's Baghead Iris, just after it's happened, she's wearing like the robes that she's wearing throughout. But then when she actually leaves the burning building, she's in Iris's clothes with Iris's bag. So she's just gonna go off and live Iris's fucking life.
Yeah.
And she's free.
Yeah, that's the kind of like the villain who's not really a villain, fucking everybody over and getting away is always a good ending. It's
kind of like the whole like Fear Street vibe, where like there's the witch everyone's fucking terrified of, but she's the way that she is because of what she was made into.
It reminds me of, weirdly, of The Last Exorcism Part 2, where I don't know if you've seen it or remember it, but essentially it's the girl from the first one where essentially at the end of it she's like, do you know what? Humanity's shit. I think I will just like be have the devil in me. And like the end of that, I think I'm remembering this right, is her just walking down a street, basically like looking at cars and then blowing up and shit. And like it just be like, and just being a kind of like a badass, cool, yeah, she's like taking that shit back.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
And like I said to Mark afterwards, like there's all these people saying, oh, well, if it had come out before Talk to Me, it might be more highly regarded, but Talk to Me does it better. Talk to Me absolutely does not fucking do it better. This is better than Talk to Me by a significant margin.
Yeah, I'm not going to doubt it. Like I like Talk to Me, but it's also A24, so immediately give it 2 more stars than you maybe otherwise would. So yeah. Like
genuinely really quite surprised by how much I enjoyed it. So I almost didn't go either, because I was going after work yesterday, because I finished at 5 and Mark didn't finish till 8. I finished work and I was just fucking knackered, and I was like, oh, I might just sit and watch some TV in the car. And Mark was like, no, go. What else are you going to do for like 3 hours? So, yeah, I almost didn't go, and I'm really, really glad I did. It's... Again, I'm not going to sit here and say it's great. It's a classic of the genre, but it's good. It's good fun. It's got an interesting story to tell. It does jump scares the right way, whereby it doesn't have loads of like ramping up music before it and then a jump scare. So it's like, well, hang on, you just took the jump out of jump scare. That you telegraphed it too much. Like the jump scares that happen are just there, and they are genuinely kind of like, they do make you jump. There's a bit where like one of the old Guardians, the friend, I can't remember the friend's name, is reading some stuff about like the old owners and things like that, and then he's just there at the bar with like his grim, rotting face. Nice. And it just comes out of nowhere. It doesn't need to be there, but it's just Katie, she's called. Yeah, really, really enjoyed it actually.
Fucking A. Oh, that's great. So, yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know, Baghead is, like, in UK cinemas now. I'd never heard of it until I saw it in the listings last week. and just thought that's a funny title. So, yeah. Does she refer to herself as Baghead at all?
She doesn't really talk when she's the witch.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
You never see her like eating the things that she's given either. Like she does it under the bag. You don't really see much of her at all.
Right.
Apart from the bag, obviously.
That's funny. Right. Cool. All right. Baghead. Sounds like it's worth a go.
Yeah.
And what else have you been up to, Bex?
Yeah, I was thinking this. Not a huge hell of a lot, to be perfectly honest. Have I watched anything on my own? No. Reading a lot. So I obviously am on my hella big reread of the Stephen King Dark Tower series. I don't know where I was up to when I last said about it. I think I've read the end of the book I was reading, a whole other book, and half of the last book since we last spoke. Because I think I was on Wolves of the Calla. So yeah, I won't go into huge details on the Dark Tower series, but there's a break point where it's a book of flashback story. So the main character, Roland, the first 3 books are kind of linear. You get to a certain point and then he tells a story about his history, and then you come back into the present, and then it goes on from there. So you've got 3 books, flashback book, 3 books. And then the last 3 books really get kind of weird, and start getting quite, I guess, like meta, in that there's a lot of real world stuff pulled in. Father Callahan from Salem's Lot, which even if you've not read the books, you've probably seen the movie. The same Father Callahan out of that is a character in the 5th book. He then realises at the end of that book that he's a character in a book written by a guy called Stephen King, because he through circumstances he sees the book, and then it all becomes a bit like, shit, are we all just characters in this man's story? But they're addressing it in the story. And then in the 6th book they go and they actually meet Stephen King. And then I'm into the last book now, number 7, which is a fucking doorstop of a book. Like it's difficult to read because it's so big to hold.
Wow.
So I've got the hardback edition of quite a few of them with like the illustrations in, and because the spine of the book is so thick, like some of the pictures have started to come a little bit loose, because obviously once you break the spine of a book, like the pages aren't held quite as tightly, and the thicker the book, the more easily the pages fall out. And because the illustrations are on like cardstock or whatever, they're starting to come a little bit loose, and they stick out a little bit further than the rest of the pages. It is a well-worn book considering how big it is. But yeah, it kind of, it's interesting. It has a similar effect to me, on me, as like The Matrix does, where every once in a while I just kind of go, maybe we are all just living in the Matrix. Like maybe that's it. Maybe we're all in pods and this is all fake, because it feels too outlandish to be real. And the Dark Tower kind of has a similar kind of effect on me, in that it's like, who's to know what's real? Like, are we all just characters in somebody's story? We could just be being written by the God in the machine. You know, you just don't know. So I always find it quite like interesting rereading the tail end of the series, because it's just a bit weird. It's real weird. It's weird having Stephen King as a character in there as well. I think he tries really hard not to be too arrogant about like his success in it, and it's like, but if anyone else was writing about you, they'd be like bigging you up. So it's odd from that point of view.
But I take it he's not like also taking the piss out of himself too much or anything. Like it's not like meta.
No, it's but like so I'm about to get to the bit where it addresses the accident that he was in.
Okay.
Because because obviously, because he's writing their story, if he dies, then the tower could collapse, and who knows what would happen. But obviously, we all know that he doesn't. But like, yeah, he's getting to that point in the book, so it's weird. It must have been real weird to write as well. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I've been doing with my free time. I did start watching An American Werewolf in London, but I've not had a chance to finish it yet.
You're going to watch An American Werewolf in Paris as well?
I might do. I don't know if I've ever seen that one.
It's not great.
Is it not? I might pass them.
Yeah. CG in it is beyond horrific.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was kind of like mid-late 90s where, you know, they were kind of like starting to use CG and everything, and all of it looked shit.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
And then we had like a brief period where it looked quite good, and now we're back into looking shit again.
Yeah, that is the way of things.
Excellent. But yeah, that's literally me. That's all I've done.
Okay, so I rewatched Asteroid City and Barbie, but I talked about them in the review of the year show, so I'll skip those. So I've got a few. So I rewatched Fast X, which I kind of feel like I was being charitable with it in the cinema. I think on a rewatch, I think I'd be going Geostorm. It is...
Oh my god, we started watching that last night.
It's fucking awful, but it's never boring.
I actually really want to rewatch Fast X. Sorry, when I said we started watching that again last night, I meant Geostorm. But I do actually kind of want to rewatch Fast X. Just really for Jason Momoa.
The thing is, he's having fun. And nobody else is having fun. Everybody else, it's deadly serious. And then you got Jason Momoa doing like that thing that kind of got gift, where like at one point he's like, "Here we go," and the bit where he's talking to those henchmen who he's killed, and like
He's
doing one of their nails, and just chatting away, and it is a wild performance. But then you've also got John Cena, who, yes, okay, he became a good guy at the end of the last one. But then in this, it's John Cena drinking the, people think I'm really good at comedy Kool-Aid. Which he is, alright. But him being teamed up with Little B, it feels like that's out of a different film. It feels like there's 5 different films all fighting with each other through the course of this. Rita Moreno giving a toast at one of their barbecues about and talking about legacy, where it's like, these fuckers started off stealing DVD players out of trucks. It just, no. It's so high on its own supply, and the action sequences are just incredibly riddled with CG and green screen at this point. And but there are mad choices constantly. Just really, why the fuck did you decide to go with that stuff?
Yeah.
And it's wild. And, Justin Lin walked. He does have a screenplay credit on this. The screenplay is credited to 2 people, and Justin Lin is one of them. And yes, okay, there's probably a lot of like shady people did a lot of rewrites and like just didn't get credit on it kind of stuff. But I do wonder how far away this was from what the Justin Lin one would have been. Like, what was the breaking point? Because it's not that far away from Fast 9 in terms of the goofiness. And I mean, like, the soap opera element of Fast 9, if anything, that's actually toned down here, because the bad guy is just Jason Momoa being a weird dickhead. It's just an odd duck of a film, and it makes me laugh that they came out a couple of weeks back and said that the next one's going to be more grounded. You've ended this one with Vin Diesel and Kid at the bottom of a dam, and the dam has just been exploded by Jason Momoa. The head of like the CIA unit that was going to be like that kind of like turned around and started helping Diesel, it turns out is actually Jason Momoa's business partner. And it looks like all the rest of the team have been killed in a plane crash. How the fuck do you go from there to we're going to be more grounded? And like, I feel like it's somehow going to start with Diesel and Little B are now hiding out, and the first scene is going to be them street racing. But I don't know, Vin Diesel's got a fucking wig on or some shit, and they're going to be hiding out in Indonesia doing street races, and it's going to be more grounded because there's a street race in it, and that's what they mean by more grounded. Yeah, I mean, but like I say, it's never boring. It's so I can't hate it, but it's funny because I know a lot of like Fast and Furious super fans were like, I am out, and it's like the action filmmaking is not nearly as good as like 5, 6, and 7. It's not. But in terms of the stupid plot and the stupid characters, I mean, seven's obviously very like different because of the Paul Walker of it all.
Yeah.
But it's not that far away, but it is ramped up. But I would watch Fast X over Fast 9 again in a heartbeat. Even though I think Fast 9 is better made, Fast X is more entertaining.
Yeah.
But in a slightly, funnily enough, car crash way. So, yeah, Fast X. I'll probably watch it again before the next one comes out. And it does make me laugh as well. Like the mid-credits bit where it's like Hobbs, the Rock comes back into it. Apparently they shot that like 10 weeks before the film came out. It was like real last minute shit. And the Godot smite or smirking thing was supposed to be the mid credits. And when you're watching the film, that actually makes a lot of sense because it like how it should end is the dam exploding, Vin Diesel looking at his kid, cut to credits, then have Godot. But instead you've got that, cut to Rodriguez and Ferron walking up, and then the submarine coming up, and then Godot smirking, and that's the end of the film. And it's such a weird note to end on, just Gal Gadot smirking, doing that look on her face that she always does. Like, she does... Gal Gadot, great physical presence, is actually alright in the first Wonder Woman. Now she just seems to smirk and go, yep, it's me. And that's what she does in films.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's something. But yeah, there you go. Fast X. Okay, I also rewatched the Simpsons movie. And because Lottie was up for watching it. And we watched she was saying something about a knife the other day. I was like, oh, I see you played Knifey Spoony before. And she was like, what? So I showed her the clip, and she laughed at it. And then we watched Bart versus Australia, which is still just incredible Simpsons. The bit where the Australian guy's pissed off about the phone bill, and he's like, I'm going to go speak to my member of parliament. And just opens up his window, and there's just a guy in like a lake on a fucking donut drinking a beer, and he's just like, "Hey, Prime Minister!" It's great. So yeah, the Simpsons movie. It's aging. Definitely aging. there's a couple of gay things in it which I feel like maybe aren't aging particularly well. It does make me laugh that it's on Disney Plus, and it's got a bit where Bart puts a bra on his head and like talks about how he's the head of an evil corporation because he looks like Mickey Mouse. And it's on Disney Plus. Good stuff. But yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag. There's stuff in there that works. There's stuff in there that really, really doesn't work. But I do like that they try and sell gaslighting America into believing that Springfield was never there by getting Tom Hanks to front the promotional campaign for it. That's good. That's good. But at the same time, President Schwarzenegger, how is that not just President Wolfcastle? Why is Arnie just suddenly in it and not the guy who's supposed to represent Arnie? Just do that.
Yeah. It's weird, actually.
Yeah, it's an odd one, the Simpsons movie. And it's just it does one of the arcs that they do in it fucking loads, where it's Homer's an idiot and then Marge thinks about leaving him and then Homer wins her back. Like, they do that quite a lot in the show, and that's like the big character arc for Homer here, where he's like, he learns to realise that to show that he care about himself, he needs to care about other people or something. There's like a trippy dream that he has, and it's like, right, and then after this film, it's just back to the normal Homer being Homer and not having any realisation of that or anything. I think the only thing they really actually take on from the film at all is, I think, Dr. Nick gets killed at the end. I think this is the last time he's in The Simpsons.
Okay.
And that's it. Like, Lisa gets a boyfriend in this who I think is never, like, referenced again.
Right.
So, yeah, Simpsons movie. And then lastly, I was on the older Elliptical yesterday. I had a look through Netflix before I started it. It's like, yes, this will do. The early Colin Farrell film SWAT.
Okay.
So Samuel L. Jackson, head of this SWAT unit. And the first half is basically Samuel L. Jackson getting together his new team of SWAT folks. And Colin Farrell's an ex-SWAT guy who was kicked off of SWAT when him and Jeremy Renner were partners, and Jeremy Renner disobeyed a direct order and blah, blah, blah. Jeremy Renner leaves the force, Colin Farrell stays. And they get together LL Cool J, who does some running. There's a bit where they're trying to look for Michelle Rodriguez, and they're stunned that this badass person is a woman.
Whoa.
Absolutely. They reject one candidate at one point because he's a vegetarian, and if you can't eat a good old-fashioned American hot dog with someone, then, can you really trust them? Which is incredible, actually. So that's like the first half, and all the way through, it's kind of like putting in that Kylie Minogue's ex, Olivier Martinez, is in town and making trouble, and he's busted for a busted tail light, and then they discover, holy shit, he's actually like an international criminal, like internationally renowned criminal. And he says, I'll give $100 million to whoever gets me out of this. And then the second half is the SWAT team basically on like an extended mission to get him to a high security prison. So this is an adaptation of an old TV show. They reference the theme tune in the film in terms of the characters singing it, and it's in the score. And you'd think that theme tune had the cultural relevance of Star Wars for the amount of times it's played. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But it basically functions as if it is like the first two episodes of a TV show. Like the first half is the first episode. It's kind of like setting up the team, and then the second half is like their first big mission. And I think it's all right, actually. Colin Farrell or Samuel L. Jackson's characters kind of just like each other from the start and continue liking each other. There's no like
Conflict.
Colin Farrell disrespecting the old man, and then it kind of, like they get a begrudging respect for each other. They like each other from the start. And then LL Cool J's in it for some reason. Michelle Rodriguez is in it kinda for some reason. Jeremy Renner's playing a scumbag for like I'm sure like 7th of what turns out to be like 56 appearances in which Jeremy Renner plays a scumbag. But it's fun. It's really throwaway. It's aged quite badly. They hint at Colin Farrell and Michelle Rodriguez maybe having a romantic thing during the first half, and it's never referenced again. And yeah, I quite enjoy it. It's an hour 45, speeds along all right. By the end of it, you're like, I would have watched another one of those. So that's SWAT. SWAT's all right. Okay, so do we have an ETA on Mark?
Hang on a sec. He should be about 10 minutes, I think.
10 minutes. Okie dokie. So, I don't know. Is there any?
I mean, we could do The Colour Purple.
Did Mark not watch it?
No.
Oh, did he not? Oh shit. Well, yeah. Let's do The Colour Purple then. Fuck.
Also, we taking Celie with us. Ain't that right, Celie?
Come again.
Celie is coming to Memphis with us. It's time she saw more of this world.
I'd die before I let that happen.
Good. That's just the going away present I've been needing.
So, this is directed by a man whose name is Blitz Bazawuli. It's probably not how you pronounce it. I apologise. This stars Fantasia Barrino, Taraji P. Henson, Danielle Brooks, Coleman Domingo, Corey Hawkins, and Halle Bailey. A woman faces many hardships in her life, but ultimately finds extraordinary strength and hope in the unbreakable bonds of sisterhood. Bex, The Colour Purple.
Yes.
What do you think?
So I really didn't want to watch this until there was like a more recent trailer. I think I mentioned it last week that that showed a bit more of the musical-y kind of stuff. Which I do like a musical, so it kind of made me feel a bit more like, do you know what, I'll give it a go. It really suffers for me from pacing issues. The beginning, the beginning feels like about right, and then Shug Avery comes into it and it goes a bit high octane, and then the end of it just drags. So it's just really uneven. I think it's a shame, really, that's the case, because I think the characters that they've created within the movie are all actually really quite good. You know, the girl who plays Celie is suitably like meek up until she's not. I think Coleman Domingo's really good as Mister. I think Taraji P. Henson's great as Shug Avery. Sophia's just my favourite, and I want to be a friend. Kid who plays Harpo, really, really good. Just, you know, really good performances, but it's just unfortunate that the baggy period comes at the end, because you got to a point where you're just like, oh, I just want it to end now. And then she does that final song, and you're just like, is this it? Is it just a song? Because the runtime would suggest so I might just stop it now. Because it's such a nothing song. Yeah,
it really is. I mean, to be fair, I think maybe all of the songs are nothing songs.
Some that I really enjoyed. What is it? Sophia's, is it Hell No that she sings? That's really good.
Oh, towards the start. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like how ballsy they've made most of the women in it. So yeah, thing is, it's a good story. I don't know that we needed a remake, and I don't know that we needed that remake to be a musical.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know who this is for, other than a very, very limited audience of Christians who maybe don't want to be offended too much. I thought it's got a sheen to it the entire way through, which I think, I get it. They want people to go out feeling happy, but I feel like the hardships could have been more viscerally depicted. I'm not saying like I want to see Colman Domingo beat the shit out of Fantasia Barrino, but it just felt really bland. All the musical numbers, I almost felt like every time a song started, it was just a music video. And it almost like it should have done like the artist and the track title and the record label in the bottom left, like they used to do on like MTV or whatever. And the whole thing's just got this artificiality about it.
Yeah.
Which I get it if they're adapting it from, because it's a stage musical, isn't it? Like that, yeah. So they readapted it into a stage musical, and I mean, sure, but I just left it going like, who is this for? Because it doesn't feel hard hitting enough in the lows to really make the highs hit.
Yeah.
Like they have a rough life. I mean, the roughest part is having the babies taken away and then not knowing what happened to them, and that happens so early on that nothing else in the film, and I mean, this might be a problem with the source material. I genuinely don't know, but nothing else in the film like hits you like that. And then, so like you say, towards the end, where it's they're making a new life for themselves, everything's getting better, and then Colman Domingo's character like has a couple of rough turns, and then it's his come to Jesus moment, and then by the end he's like the old man who bought himself a new pair of trousers. Look at him go. What?
Yeah, I mean, the book's more gritty, and
I bet
the Whoopi Goldberg movie is more gritty.
It needed more of that,
Yeah,
to really sell it. But I get it, because it's like they want to make a big barnstorming musical with like that's going to make you feel good at the end. But then that song at the end, fuck off.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I and you know, I have no religion, but just by the end they're like, well, you know, God got us to this point. What? It gave you a really shit life, and then you're meeting your grown-up kids.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, praise God for at least giving you those kids 20 fucking years too late.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's a bit gaudy at the end, isn't it? I just, yeah, you are right. I don't, like you say, I don't know who it's for, apart from a lot of stuff made for younger generations now is incredibly sanitized. And are they trying to bring this story in a sanitized form to a new generation? Like kids today, but kids today are not going to go back and watch a 1985 Whoopi Goldberg version of this.
But who the fuck is going to watch this? Like, Yeah, I mean, and I get it. If that was their idea, open up this story to a new audience.
And then
Great.
maybe some of them find the book, and I don't really know what their intention was with it.
No, and I mean, like, to be fair, I think a younger audience saying noted white Jew Steven Spielberg directing The Colour Purple is probably something that might not go down well with audiences today. And I'm not saying Jew is a derogatory term or anything, like, pointing it out. It's just, he's a Jewish white dude directing The Colour Purple. Like, how that would just not go these days. I can imagine a lot of audiences going, yeah, I don't think I need to see that. But I've never seen it, but god damn, I bet it's a more fulfilling experience than this is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily shit.
No.
Like, the performances are good. Danielle Brooks getting nominated for Best Supporting Actress, all about that. I thought, like, she's very good in this.
She's the best thing in it.
But yeah, man, like, bit of a wet
Well,
fart
apart
of a
from
film.
the fact that, and it skims over it, but like she's beating her husband.
Yeah, great.
They've just taken all the nuance out of the story by everything that bad that happens off screen.
Yeah, and this is it, and it's like you don't need to wallow in it. It doesn't need to be the Passion of the Christ, but it, you know, the way that they kind of neuter it, and then it's like God say, like, praise God for no. These women, these, I don't know, sisters are doing it for themselves. I don't know, like, that's as you know, but really, you know, yeah, man, like, just touching cloth, but really, really because of the performances. Long bloody film.
So long.
Long bloody film. Wowee.
I'm assuming at some point Jim Broadbent does turn up and sing Start Wearing Purple at some point, doesn't he? He must do. He doesn't. Well, they've missed a fucking trick there, haven't they? Just out of fucking nowhere, just Jim Broadbent in the full fucking Moulin Rouge regalia, just bursts in, sings Start Wearing Purple, and then just fucks off again. 5-star film. I haven't watched it, know nothing about it, but I think that would make it better.
Hi, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Yeah, coming crashing in like a motherfucker.
Like an idiot.
What's your rating on it, Bex?
Probably the same. Like, it's fine, but it's pointless. So yeah, probably touching cloth.
Yeah. Okay. What do we want to do now? Mark, we've already done what we've been up to.
You bastards.
I'm bagging.
So,
Yeah, and Becky's done Baghead.
yeah, absolutely. It was a good discussion. So, Mark, do you want to talk about what you're up to? Then we'll swing back around to news and trailers.
Yeah, we certainly can do. I'll just finish loading them up. Did you talk about the ones that you watched just on your own, Bex, or the ones that we watched as well?
Just the ones I watched on my own.
Cool. Right, I am still loading up because I've watched a fair amount.
Yeah, we've only watched one together.
That's not true.
What else have we watched?
We watched that one. We watched that one. We watched that one. I'm not going to cover the whole Doves and Maestro because I spoke about them last week.
Spoken about them, haven't we?
So 3 then.
Okay.
Right, give me 2 seconds, guys, and I'll just finish loading up what I've got. This is how long it's actually taking me, because I've watched a lot.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah. Actually, 4 Bex because you missed another one there. God. Dude, these films means nothing to you, Rebecca.
I forgot how far back we'd be going because it wasn't a real show last week.
Right, let's go. There we go. Right. Let's get into it. So I finished off Roleplay that you watched the other week, Ian.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it does kind of get a little bit it's kind of fun, it's frothy, and it's a bit like, well, none of this is new. And then gets a little bit bleak for about 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then just becomes a little bit like generic for 20 minutes. And it was generic but fun to start off with. But then, yeah, it's... Kelly Cuoco and David Oyelowo, who I like both of them individually. I did feel a little bit like, within the film, framing the film, that this was the first time they'd ever met. I didn't buy them as a couple.
Oh, okay.
Like, in any way whatsoever. There was... They seemed like they'd be really good friends. But that, like, the sex would just be mild. For that. So, but Bill Nye turning up for one scene and just being really peculiar but really fun is good.
He at the bar,
yeah,
like his energy is so fucking weird.
Yeah, it's I almost like feel like a little bit like it would have been cool if you found out that David Oyelowo didn't know that it was going to be Bill Nye and then just turned up and was like, why is Bill Nye here? But he plays it perfectly there. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I mean, I enjoyed my time with it overall. I had a good time with it. But yeah, it does get a little bit... Yeah, strange. I'm just reading that apparently Billy Bob Thornton was originally going to be the Bill Nye character. I prefer it being Bill Nye.
Yeah, definitely prefer Bill Nighy over that. Yeah.
Just the oddity of it being Bill Nye, I think, just kind of added something to the film. Yeah. Also, as well, I like Kelly Cuoco. She can do these bits. I don't think she can pull off the action bits. She physically looks like she can. So it might have been a director kind of just a badly choreographed bit. But there was a lot of bits where there was people stood waiting to be kicked. And it was a bit like, oh... but yeah, I had enough fun with it. Spin Me Round, the film that has a better poster than it does film, is, yeah, I did not have a good a time with this. The idea of this is that Alison Brie's character Amber works for essentially a version of Olive Garden and wins like a competition to go to the company's head offices in Italy, in Piacenza, Italy, and it's going to be like this really cool sort of like week that she gets to spend finding out like where the origins of all like the recipes came from and all this lot, and it ends up just being this really crap company retreat. But Alessandra Nivola plays the owner of the company who kind of ends up sort of seducing her, and she thinks it's great, but it just turns out that he just does this with everybody, with every hot girl. It never has enough energy to run out of energy, so it just kind of happens. But Zach Woods is in it, and he's great.
Yeah, Zach Woods is always all right.
Yeah. Aubrey Plaza. A film where Aubrey Plaza and Alison Brie hook up should be a lot sexier than this movie is.
Just Alison Brie, I can imagine her getting with Aubrey Plaza. She'd be like really, really into showing people that she's getting with Aubrey Plaza, making it very obvious.
It's a little bit like that. It's weirdly, it's a more muted performance from Alison Brie, which is strange.
Okay.
I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I spoke about it briefly last week. It's
your first go around on this, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really crap. It's phenomenally crap. The more I think about it, the crapper it gets. I mean, Corey Stoll, who signed off on MODOK?
Oh, that's funny though. I can't believe they fucking did that.
Like,
what?
The character of MODOK. The thing is, Corey Stoll playing MODOK, I think is quite good. I think the whole idea of it is quite good, but the visualness of it, the visual of that, they could have made that funny and better looking and sillier, and it would have made it better, but they didn't. And you look at it going, is that Corey Stoll's face? Because it just looks a little bit like he recorded it looking down at the back of his phone with his phone at a weird angle and then just sent them it. It's genuinely, there are bits of CG in this film that I don't care that it's supposed to be quirky and a bit of fun. Right, I can't understand why The Flash got such bad shit for their CG, which it should have done, by the way. And Ant-Man Quantumania seems to have gotten away with it. This hasn't been nominated for Best Visual Effects, has it?
No.
Because if it is, then yeah, we should just burn down every cinema in the land. I like Jonathan Majors. I'm glad that Jonathan Majors won't be in any more of these. Even Bill Murray feels a little bit like, is this all you've got? Mm-hmm. Is this all you've got? The best bit of it, of the entire film, was the little recap of Paul Rudd just kind of walking along in what could be any Paul Rudd movie. And then at the end, him doing the same thing. And then the rest of it's just an absolute shower of shite. Bad movie. White Fang is a good movie. It's White Fang with Ethan Hawke. It's really snowy, and there's a wolf. That's about all I had to say on White Fang. What else have I got? I rewatched The House.
Oh, good. I mean, that's always a good idea.
Yeah. The House might be the best Will Ferrell movie that people don't talk about.
I think that's fair.
It's just fucking great. There's just some amazing lines in it. Will Ferrell saying, "Honestly, you don't want to see inside this life. All I see is thumbs in my sleep." It's elevated by the fact that Jason Mantzoukas just brings his wonderful air of kind of controlled chaos to it. It is very good in that. I like to think that he made those slides himself because they have the same zany energy that he has, and I could see him being the kind of guy that can make those slides. And then so I realise I'm just laughing at bits that happen in the film now, but when he just rolls up Jeremy Renner in the carpet,
yeah, that's good.
And then just goes, "It's okay, everything's sorted." Then the carpet sets fire, and you get a really hard cut to them just stood outside the house on fire. I think this is that if this had been released 10 years earlier, I think people would be talking about it in the same breath as The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Anchorman, because I genuinely think it is at that level of just great comedy at points. Are they women's sunglasses? They're Italian. Is that a woman's cigarette holder? It's an Italian cigarette holder. Is fucking great movie. Do you know what else is a genuinely fucking great movie that nobody talks about?
Go on.
Right. I remember buying this in the DVD days, watching it and really liking it. Right? It's Richard Donner's last movie, I believe. I'm just going to check this to make sure I am right that it is his last
16
movie.
Blocks?
Yeah. I rewatched...
Yeah, pretty sure it is.
16 Blocks. It is, yeah. Rewatched 16 Blocks. Bruce Willis and Mos Def, back when he was still Mos Def, before he was Yaslin Bey. And David Morse in the most David Morse of roles.
Is he a good guy turns out to be a bad guy?
Yeah. Have you ever seen 16 Blocks?
No.
Right. So when David, I'm not going to give anything because genuinely, I think you should watch this because I think it is it's not a like it's not a Mark likes it. It's definitely not a Sabotage or even a Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 where it holds a special place in my heart. There is some absolutely brilliant directorial work of framing of shots and use of slow motion that isn't just used throughout the film, but is used in a specific shot where just the whole setup of the shot is fucking fantastic. The fact that something happens and you go, oh shit, and then you see very quickly that's what happened, and you're seeing it from like it pans from Mos Def's point of view to then Bruce Willis's point of view to then somebody else's point of view, but it's all the same shot, and everything that happens then starts to make sense within it. It's just a really well done shot, and it's. I mean, the film is that Bruce Willis plays out a burnt out detective who is literally about to finish his shift, but is told by his boss, "I need you to basically take this one guy. It's 16 blocks from lockup to the courthouse, and that's it. That's all you have to do. 16 blocks, it'll take you 45 minutes. Do it." So he's like, fine, I'll do it. And then just all shit kind of breaks loose, and it turns out that Mos Def, who's the guy who's got to take from one place to another, is a petty criminal who is kind of being set up, but the reason why he's been set up is he has seen a cop essentially committing murder, and it will lead, his testimony will lead to a lot of cops going down. And one of those cops happens to be David Morse, who then is trying to fucking essentially kill him. And Bruce Willis used to be his partner, and they think that he's just going to go along with it, but he has like an epiphany of, I can't let this guy who just seems like a good guy, who just wants to open a bakery. He just wants to fucking get to Seattle and open a bakery. But it's a really good film. It's a really entertaining, like, action thriller watch. There's some great shots in it. Gets in and out in like an hour and 40 minutes. And you can tell it's not directed by a standard jobbing director. It's directed by, Richard Donner, who made some fucking great movies and bounced around. The great thing about Richard Donner was he bounced around genres as well. But I mean the guy fucking made Lethal Weapon. But yeah,
what's this on?
I watched it on Prime.
Okay,
but it would be a really solid elliptical watch.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I watched, you weren't here, but I was talking about SWAT earlier on. I watched that on the elliptical yesterday.
And did you have a good time with SWAT?
Oh, SWAT's alright, man. Yeah,
I like SWAT.
Yeah.
SWAT's a fun watch. Mm-hmm. This is a more engaging watch, I would say, than SWAT. It's probably not as fun, but it's a lot more engaging, and it's a better film than that. But yeah, you'll know the shot I'm talking about. It's quite early on. But it's just it's a wonderfully staged just shot that comes out. What else did I watch? I watched Set It Up, which stars my new obsession, Glenn Powell, and Zoe Dush. This is a Netflix movie from 2018 that I can't believe we missed. Where Zoe Dush and Glenn Powell play assistants to like high level like CEOs. Zoe Dush is the assistant to Lucy Liu, who runs like this really big shot sports website, and Glenn Powell it's Tay Diggs, who you never really find out what he does, but apparently he has an important job, but he's just a dickhead. And both of their bosses are both dickheads, and they work in the same building, and they basically decide that both of them need to get laid, essentially, and have like a relationship, because if they're if they can get them to have a relationship, then they might get some time off while they're doing relationship things.
Oh, that's quite a good idea. All right, yeah.
Yep. And so, and then, of course, you know what kind of happens while they're setting them up. That, you know, things start to happen with Zoe Deutsch and Glenn Powell.
Great, good. Those two look like they should fuck, so that's brilliant.
And they really do look like they should fuck. But the thing is, it's just you watching it going, right? She's really charming and really fun, and he is just doing the Glenn Powell thing of being really charming and a little bit dumb, but not like Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Gosling kind of dumb. Just will occasionally do dumb things, but also seems like he is actually fairly smart. It's a fun, again, elliptical watch, mate. Do that. But it is a fun fucking film. I had a good time with it. Only criticism is that of it, as I was watching it going, they are basically seeming like they're playing into every stereotype of high-ranking CEOs just being fucking unmitigating fucking arseholes and just getting away with it because they are bunny ears on a podcast, good at their jobs, but they don't at any point seem like they're in any way good at their jobs. But yeah, fun full film, and just sets along on just them two being fucking really good screen presences. Yeah. Oh, and also Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson plays Glenn Powell's gay roommate. And
wow, okay.
And he plays it fantastically. Doesn't play it as camp in any way.
Does he just play it Pete Davidson but gay? So,
yeah,
I mean, it sounds okay to me.
There is I'm genuinely. Are you going to watch this at some point?
I probably will at some point. Yeah.
There is a moment where he does something that is comedy that is just fucking brilliant. That he does to Taye Diggs. I'm not going to say what it is, but it is fucking brilliant. That was made better by, I found out afterwards reading about the film. Taye Diggs had no idea he was going to do it, and he just fucking does it, and it is fucking brilliant.
Okay.
It is. I laughed to the point of where I had to pause the film because I was laughing that much.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Continuing my mild little obsession I have with Glenn Powell at the moment. I rewatched Everybody Wants Some, the spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused.
Very good.
The Richard Linklater movie from 2016. We reviewed this, didn't we, on the podcast?
Yeah, we will have, yeah.
And I believe we both kind of really liked its vibe and thought that it was a good time. It's still a really fucking good time. This film gets better every single time I watch it. I think this is about watch maybe number 4 for me on this film. It's a fucking great film. You're just hanging out with these guys that are they're kind of idiots, but none of them are dickheads. They're just like, it's explained in the film that they are, but it's explained in the film by them that they are that they were all like the best baseball player at their school. So they've all got that level of ego.
Yeah.
But they all also know that they are not the best baseball player on this team. That another guy is. And they're always trying to but they're hyper competitive, but they're also teammates. It's just that, but they're also horny. And it's all of these things mixed into one, but they just come across as just quite nice guys. They bounce around all these different parties. At one point they're going, I can't understand this. 2 nights ago we were at a disco party in disco clothes, and then the next night we're doing Cotton Eye Joe at a cowboy bar, and then tonight we're punks. What's going on? And Glenn Powell just goes, I don't know what you mean by that question. We're just going with the flow. It's just, it's cool. Just go for it. And it's the film that made me fall in love with Glenn Powell because he is just a fucking charisma vehicle in this movie. You are watching him going, this guy is just a dick, knows that everything he says is complete bollocks, but you know he's a fucking great night out. And he's the guy who will do anything for one of those guys. It's fucking brilliant film.
Nice.
Bex, should we do the ones that we watched together, and then should we have an argument about Zone of Interest?
Yeah, can do.
So we both watched Untouchables. We started watching it together, and then we finished watching it separately, didn't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
stages ago.
The Untouchables, I think we spoke about before.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. And the runaway pram
Baby
sequence
carriage.
is genuinely just one of the most wonderful sequences in
Yeah.
cinema.
So tense, and I don't even like children.
It's just fantastic. It's just...
Yeah.
I am so glad that Andy Garcia turned out went on from this to be Andy Garcia.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
It is just really fucking cool that you wouldn't have thought that the Andy Garcia in 1987 would turn out to end up being the Andy Garcia that we got in Mamma Mia 2.
No.
But I'm glad that we did.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I love The Untouchables.
Yep. What else did we watch? We watched The Brothers Grimm, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
You really like The Brothers Grimm, don't you?
I do, yeah. Yeah.
What did you say halfway through this movie to me?
I don't think the people need to know.
I think they do.
I don't think they do.
What did you say?
No, I don't think they need to know.
Come on, you can't embarrass me because saying dumb things and you say a dumb thing.
I said, I love how weird this film is. Like, if someone said to you this is a Terry Gilliam movie, you wouldn't be surprised at all. And it's not. And you went, yeah, it fucking is.
It is a Terry Gilliam film. I think you knew that but had forgotten that.
Probably, yeah.
I'm fairly certain that you knew that but had forgotten that.
Well, 'cause I think it's because I think of Terry Gilliam as being like in the ago. And this feels like a really recent movie. Although it wasn't a really recent movie.
No, it's 18 years old.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Always, whenever I watch anything with Heath Ledger in, it always makes me go, oh.
Yeah, it's sad.
Peter Stormare's fucking great in this, though.
It's really good,
And
yeah.
Lena Hadley just plays herself. An absolute dick.
Yeah. And there's a werewolf.
And there's a werewolf. What else did we also rewatched? What did you? Have you seen this before?
I think I must have done, but I didn't remember it.
We
Maybe we've started it before and not finished it.
I'd finished it before. We watched
Yeah.
another spiritual sequel.
Yeah.
The spiritual sequel to Grosse Point Blank, War Inc., which feels more prescient now than it probably did in 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really fucking good.
It's a fun movie. A very, very satirical look at the
Economics of war.
the co-opting of big business of arms businesses running wars. It's Cusack doing very much the Grosse Point Blank thing, but in a more satirical way. You can see why it's basically the same character.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And there's the fact that you've got Dan Aykroyd essentially playing the same character as well. It's a very fun movie.
Yeah, it is really good. It's watching it currently, like with the current situation, it's a bit like I don't know if I'm comfortable with this.
No, there's bits here that are satire that actually feel like they're real. They're actually playing out now.
It is weird when you watch like older satirical things, and it's like, oh, you see, that was outside of the realms of like imagination and possibility back in the olden days, and now it's just life.
Well, yeah, you messaged me. You didn't message me. You said to me about halfway through the movie, do you reckon anyone would have thought, like 10, 12 years ago, that Idiocracy and War Inc. would turn out to be like prophetic films?
Yeah.
We also watched The Paper, didn't we?
We did.
The Ron Howard movie.
Howard,
yeah. I mean, it's just a fun kind of comedy drama, all set around like 1 day is it? I feel like it's all set around 1 day, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That kind of like it's quite fun because it deals with like the dumbing down and the slowing down of print news, but not related to the internet. It's just the pre-internet that's dumbing down. It's the tabloidity of it all.
Yeah, serious papers getting more tabloidy to scoop things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. To kind of like, and it's dealing with the idea of starting to deal with the mindset of it's not about being right anymore. It's about being first.
Yeah. Yeah.
With that, and it's you've got the comedy element with Michael Keaton being there, and then Randy Quaid just being quite amusing in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a fun watch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good. I had nightmares for a few days after.
Because of Glenn Close.
Because of Glenn Close's face.
Yeah, Glenn Close is. Yes.
They've not done her any favours in this movie.
They have not done her any favours. She definitely pissed off hair and makeup.
Oh, 100%.
And they went, and they basically went
like a potato in a wig.
Yeah. Oh, you want to look 100, do you?
Yeah, they've not. She got no lips throughout this entire movie.
She's a little bit crap in it.
Yeah, she's not good.
Yeah. Which does fall into my thing of, I think there's a possibility that the more I watch, and I've watched quite a lot with Glenn Close, that she veers toward the Richard E. Grant bit of, there's a possibility she's never been good.
Yeah.
But that people like her. But that's different to being good.
Yes.
And then we watched, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one, Becky, because I don't think you believed me when I said this film existed.
No. So we watched Stay Tuned.
Oh shit!
I saw it in the cinema.
I remember Stay Tuned. Okay.
Who'd you go with?
I went on my own.
Oh, we've not done that.
God, I bet this is aged like fucking warm milk.
Nope.
Fuck off, Mark. No, come on.
Bex?
No, it's really good.
Because there's no...
Really?
Yeah, because there's nothing... There's no
nothing
inappropriate in it or anything like that. Or
yeah, alright, okay, I'll take it back.
It's just all very much... I mean, for anyone who hasn't heard of or watched Stay Tuned, Jeffrey Jones essentially plays like a... He basically is like an employee of the devil.
Yeah.
And...
But also a TV exec.
Well, but he runs essentially Hell TV.
Yeah.
And the way that he gets souls for the devil is by getting them on Hell TV and getting them... They have a series of challenges they have to pass, and if they fail, he gets their soul.
Well, no, they just have to survive for 24 hours, don't they? But
Yeah.
they get, like, flipped through channels.
Through channels,
into
yeah.
various, like,
Peril within like these various TV shows. And so he gets John Ritter's character, who is just he's a TV addict.
Yeah.
So he spends all his time on TV, and he gets sucked into the TV there. And
Who's the wife?
The wife is Pandauba.
Okay, I don't know who that is. Right. Yep, sorry.
So she is from... I'm trying to think of what massive... She's had like a few big films. No, she's not. It's weird that. But like Eugene Levy's in it. As like a...
assistant guy, isn't he?
He was like Jeffrey Jones' assistant who just pissed him off too much, and so he's been kind of banished
Into the
channels, but he keeps on like just losing limbs and shit like that.
He keeps turning up with like
less and less limbs. But yeah, it's
Oh, Jeffrey Jones catches up with them at one point, doesn't he, and references his extreme weight loss plan.
Yeah. It's
so many bits that'll just make you snort, laugh out loud.
It's
nice.
80 odd minutes, and it is just it's just bonkers.
At one point they're mice.
At one point they're in a Prince video, and John Ritter is Prince but it's a Salt and Pepper video.
Yeah.
But he's dressed as Prince.
Yeah.
But it's an actual Salt and Pepper video that Jeffrey Jones is the DJ in it, Salt and Pepper in it, and John Ritter is essentially guest starring as Prince in the video. But he's not like in blackface or anything like that. So don't worry.
No, he's just in like...
It's just in like a Prince outfit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. I did not for a second expect this to be as good as it was. It is genuinely really fucking funny.
Yeah.
Fair play. Great.
Do you know what else is really fucking funny?
Nazis, according to you.
Jonathan Glazer's written and directed.
Fucking hell. Okay, yeah.
Multi-Academy Award nominee, multi 5 out of 5ers on
Mark.
on Letterboxd.
About to embarrass himself.
I'm not about to embarrass myself, actually, I don't think. So, it's set in 1943. Randolph Hoss is the commandant of Auschwitz concentration camp, and he lives next door to it with his wife Hedwig and their 5 children.
She's not an owl.
She's not an owl, no. And yeah, and so the film is, you know, what would happen if you had suburban life literally next to Auschwitz. Bex, just...
No, you know my thoughts on it. I don't know your thoughts on it. You keep saying you've got loads to say that's going to absolutely, like, shatter everyone who thinks it's Good's arguments and blah, 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 blah. So, fucking go for it.
So what's good about it?
I think it's subtly powerful in the representation of the absolute coldness and heartlessness of these people that have conditioned themselves to see the people in the concentration camp as basically just livestock to be disposed of. But then there's flashes of like real cruelty as well that show that they know exactly what they're fucking doing. But that really they're just living their lives, and these children are just living their lives. And in the background of quite a lot of the scenic shit that they're doing, like when she's showing her mother around the garden, and when they're having a picnic outside, and there's just like gunshots and screaming and shouting and stuff in the garden, and it's like, on one side of this wall there is a literal fight for survival going on, and people are fucking dying, and they're just being baked in ovens, and struggling and probably thinking to themselves, what can I do? How can I get out of this? They might, you know, hoping that somehow they're going to get out of this situation. And on the other side, they're just eating fucking afternoon tea, and they do not give a shit about what they're doing. They don't care at all about the suffering that they're inflicting.
See, this is my issue with it. It's not that I didn't get that. I just think that's just lazy as fuck. Because the problem is, we know what went on in Auschwitz. We've seen it. The people who've gone to see this movie have grown up knowing images. They've known what's gone on there. So this idea that Glazer's got, where he never actually shows you inside the camp, you don't get to see it, is a falsehood. Because we know, because we've fucking seen it all. We know what went on there. So it's cheating there.
No, that's kind of the point. It's showing you a different perspective on it.
But I think I think it's cheating, because I think he's manipulating people effectively, because he's using that background to show you what essentially is just, he's saying, just look at them just getting on your life. Here's a 4-minute sequence of him turning off all the lights and just locking the doors, with all of that going on behind. It's like, well, none of this is new.
I don't think people necessarily would have appreciated how close residential properties were to the outside wall of Auschwitz. That people could bear to live that close to that.
But the
lack of humanity of the people involved as well.
But the people that lived there were the people that worked there. Do you think they commuted during the war from fucking 20 miles away?
No, obviously not. But I don't think I would never have suspected that it was literally
They were literally, yeah.
there was a wall, and then that wall, the other side of it was someone's garden wall.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. You might have known that. I didn't know that.
Again, I don't think...
Just showing them living alongside it, and the lack of care and empathy that they have is...
Nazis having a lack of care and empathy is not fucking new.
I'm not saying it is, but I don't see it. It's showing a different angle on it.
I genuinely... It is... Honestly, it has baffled me, people's reaction to this movie. I genuinely do not get it. I think it's incredibly manipulative. It's lazy. It's just... I'm gonna show you the absolute horror of Nazis, but without showing you the horror. Really, Jonathan, I wasn't aware that Nazis were fucking bad until you showed me this movie. Fucking hell. And the fucking... Honestly, the more I think about the girl that is the darkness in the light, the light in the darkness, is just... That is some fucking grade A fucking film school bollocks. What?
Nothing.
Come on.
She's not being portrayed as a light in the darkness.
She absolutely 100%
is
is.
negative, so she is.
So that everything else is dark and she's light, and then even when she comes out of the dark and she's in light, she's still in.
How
she's
else
still
are we
lit
supposed
up.
to show her doing it in pitch black darkness?
What? But there's a the visual is there to show you that she's a light in the darkness. It's this girl who is planting food around Auschwitz for them to get, for the prisoners to get. And every time you see her, it's pitch black apart from she is this shining ray of light. It bollocks. Honestly, the more I think about it, the angrier this film made me.
You're an idiot.
And then the cutaway at one point where he looks down the fucking corridor, and then we get to see the Auschwitz now as it is, as the museum, and the people still having to just work there and clean and bits like that. And then it cuts back to just the film again. It just felt... nah, not buying it.
Yeah, because it's showing how easily we move on, and it goes from being this prescient atrocity that's happening to being a museum that people fucking go to, and how people forget and move on with their lives, and then we are doomed to fucking repeat the same mistakes.
Do you know what would have been more fucking... Do you know what would have been more powerful than showing the cleaners doing that? Showing the dickheads doing fucking selfies outside it. That would have been more powerful.
Well, yeah, but nobody wants to acknowledge those cunts, do they?
But that would have at least had an impact on it.
But it did. It's not showing you it to be shocking. It's showing you the mundanity of what it has become, how we've rationalised it and tucked it away in the back of our minds, so that we can move on and just crack on with life.
I have a question about it. So, obviously, like, the rise of fascism across the world, I think, speaks to Mark's point about... Yeah, these things kind of coming back and like, making sure we don't... sorry, Becky's point about making sure we don't forget them. I will ask, is there anything in this film that would make either of you think that someone not of... that it's going to change anyone's mind about any... Like, I think of a film like Black Klansman. I'm not necessarily saying that's changing minds, but it's angry. That is an angry film, and, you know, I said back in the day when we reviewed it, that film is a sledgehammer to smash a walnut, but it needed to be. Zone of Interest, it kind of feels like it's, from the outside looking in, it's almost too subtle and making the point of, like, the banality of evil, which is a point that I feel like 100% of the people watching the film will go with, whereas if it maybe was a little like more visceral and more cutthroat, and like Mark's example there of going like, there are fuckers right now who are taking selfies and going to Auschwitz because, like, oh well, you got to go to Auschwitz if you're going to be in that area.
Yeah.
You know, more than remembering what it means.
It's become a tourist attraction.
Yeah, does the film need to be angrier?
You're not gonna do anything with an angry movie about this because the people that it would be trying to change the mind of just won't see it.
Well, I don't think. What I will say is, I don't think the film
point.
at any point tries to make you feel sorry for any of the people within it.
No,
It does. It definitely doesn't do that. Maybe a little bit the lead character, a little bit, but not a lot. But it doesn't also try and demonise, I don't think, any of them apart from the wife.
no, she's a twat.
And that's it. And that it just plays to the fact that she just likes the fact that she is...
The Queen of Auschwitz.
Yeah. That she's the self-branded Queen of Auschwitz. But it doesn't... It doesn't try and demonise any of them. I genuinely, I am aghast that the amount of people that I've seen come out going, it's one of the most powerful movies I've ever seen. I am very much like, I genuinely wish I'd watched the same movie as you.
I found it really powerful. It really upset me. And I think if it's trying to, you know, there's the saying in there, and I can't remember it verbatim, but it's something along the lines of "bad shit happens when good men do nothing." If this is going to speak to some of the good men and go, but they're already there, like they're already of the opinion that this is bad shit. But if it makes them go, can't let this happen again. We can't just idly stand by. Then, you know, even if it's on a real small scale, I'm not saying they're going to fucking storm Russia and take Putin out.
I genuinely, I don't think this would in any way impact anybody into acting like in any other different way. I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like it hits as a powerful thing, and I like I think that I'm looking forward to seeing it. Like I think well, yeah, no. I mean, like I want to have an opinion on it. You know, I think that idea of the way that it's like people almost like trying to climb the professional ladder, and the wife trying to like climb the wife of the professional ladder as such, but it's the Nazis is an interesting idea. But yeah, I don't know, just the way the world seems to be going at the moment, there is a part of me that's that's like a lot of people are talking about how important this film is, and it's just, yeah, but these fuckers who believe that Donald Trump's election was stolen from him aren't going to be fucking watching it. I'm almost like, I want a big director like Nolan to not just do Oppenheimer, but do a big grab you fucking by the scruff of the neck and go, look at where we are, and make it for the masses.
Yeah, this. I mean, it's. I found it personally a very passive film.
That's the point.
But I just don't think that you can be passive dealing with the fucking Nazis.
But there's plenty of cartoon villain versions of Nazis
I don't
in
think it needs to be
movies.
cartoon villain with it either. I completely agree with you on that. Because the problem is the stupidification of the Nazis has led to them becoming a clown-like figure, which has diminished the outright evilness of them. But then this just makes them just seem like, oh, they were just, you know, guys just getting on with their job. That is what I got out of this from it.
The bit at the beginning where they're discussing upgrading the ovens so they'll be more efficient.
Yeah. It just seemed like that just seemed
and
like
referring to people's units. That didn't make them seem like just fucking evil to you.
No, do you know what it seemed like? That they just treated it as a job and it made me think, it's stormtroopers. That's all it was.
Okay.
The thing is, these things happened. Auschwitz was a real place. All these happened. So the fact that they did upgrade the oven spaces, the fact that they did make the rooms bigger, the fact that they were planning on adding different extensions into wings so that they could speed up killing Jews when they knew they were losing the war, none of that's new information.
It might be to some people.
I don't.
No.
I found the fact that Jonathan Glazer is a visual filmmaker. I found it quite personally. I found it a little bit galling that he has made what he would consider a piece of art out of other people's suffering. I found a little bit galling, to be honest. I found it manipulative, galling, and a little bit like, fuck off.
I mean, in terms of manipulative, I don't know. It's really hard because I haven't seen the film, but I'm almost like the point that he's trying to make is almost like if you don't agree with it, there's almost something wrong with you. Like so,
the manipulation point I'm meaning is that we can hear in the film. You can hear the screams and you can hear all these things, but it makes a point of never showing you that, which I think is fine. But if this film was about the concentration camps in Bengal, for instance, that we were responsible for, the British were responsible for, then fair enough. But everybody from a young age that is going to be on to watch this film is aware of Auschwitz. It's taught in schools. So the imagery that is invoked from it, you've seen. So he knows what he's doing with it. There's no, I wonder what's going on behind that, because you fucking know what's going on behind that. And I just found it to be quite, I don't know, you're trying to create.
It's not going for intrigue.
No, but
the point is you know what's going on.
he's trying to make an artistic think piece about something that I just maybe think that you shouldn't be making an artistic think piece about. I don't like the idea that there'll be a lot of people tapping on the back saying, "Oh, well done. That was a really thought-provoking movie, and it's about." Oh, hang on a minute. You needed Zone of Interest to think that the Nazis were bad. One of those. Clearly, I just did not fucking get the same film as other people.
If it just didn't hit you right, then that's fine. I think there are people that are going to go, do you know what, that felt really powerful and really, it was thought-provoking and it made me fucking terrified for the immediate future. Then there's going to be people that it just doesn't sit right with.
Concentration camps weren't invented by the Nazis.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
But no, I'm saying you weren't. What I'm saying is, concentration camps were something that have existed literally since the Dark Ages and still exist now. We haven't learned. We didn't learn.
Again, though, that's the point.
I don't get why that point needs to be made. I don't understand what the film is trying to say. I think that's my issue. I don't get what the film is trying to say, and every time when someone says to me that's what the film's trying to say, and they're going, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure we already fucking knew that.
Not everyone does, though.
I'm sorry, if somebody doesn't know that fucking Nazis were bad.
That's not all it's going for, is it? Nazis are bad is not all it's going for.
I don't get what else it's going for. Maybe it just pissed me off really early on, and I just couldn't get beyond the fact that I actually quite like the fact that the opening 3 minutes is just a fucking blank screen, and then the closing 3 minutes is just a fucking blank screen. I actually quite like that. I thought, fair enough, this is fucking interesting. But then the fucking 2-3 minute sequence of him turning all his fucking lights off and locking all the doors, I was like, oh, fuck off now. And that happens fairly early on in the movie.
Yeah, the opening was weird.
It was just
I
fuck
could
off.
feel you getting more and more frustrated as well as that opening was happening and thinking, fucking.
You're not showing the everyday kind of machinations of this. Like you're fucking eking it out. Him going around and fucking locking every window and locking every door. What does he go out the next morning and open? Why would he unlock all of those fucking windows? That was just piss off. Sorry. It's clearly just everybody else got it and I didn't. It's one of those. But one day I'll walk by somebody in the street and we will stare at each other and we will give a little fucking nod. Like fucking Batman and fucking Alfred in that cafe. We'll give a little nod and we'll just nod at each other and we'll fucking know you thought Zone of Interest was shit too, didn't you? We won't even need to say it, we'll just know.
Wowee. Okay.
That is the most me and you, Becky, have ever disagreed on a movie on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit angry with you.
I know you are.
Oh, Jordan's just sent me a message.
Say what?
Sent me a picture of his next book. He's starting the
It's not Zone of Interest,
series.
is it?
No, it's not this one, yeah.
What's the rate? What's the audience poll on this?
Zone of Interest, I'll find out. Clearly it's going to fucking disagree with me. Let's have a little look. Zone of Interest. Come on, you fucker. Why is my phone not updating? Definitely not shit 100%.
I think as we have a slightly expanded range of things that we can say, I think for me it would be a thanks, I hate it. Because it's magnificent, but I hate it. And I hate the way it made me feel.
Okay.
You're not allowed to give yours because you're just a fucking Philistine.
It's nothing about being a Philistine. If I was sat here saying it's boring, nothing happens, you don't see any fucking shit, you don't see people getting tortured or anything like that, I could understand the people going, mate, you're a fucking idiot. I could understand that, but yeah. There's a thing I could say, but it sounds really fucking mean, so I'm not going to say it. Because I know people that really liked it, and clearly it's just me not getting it. But before I knew you liked it, as I walked out the cinema, I thought, I bet the fucking Guardian pullout fucking loved that movie. And then when you were like, I loved it, it's like, what the fuck?
I mean, like, literally, Mark, you are the one dissenting opinion that I think I've seen.
Yeah, I know, I have. And the more I see it, the more I'm like, what?
Backing yourself. Right, I think we need to move on from the Zone of Interest. I'm going to see it. I want to see it next weekend, but next weekend there's a couple of films out that I want to see more than the Zone of Interest. We'll get into that in a bit, but I want to swing back round to trailers. Not going to do news. I want to swing back round to trailers. So, as we discussed on the show previously, last year, Mark was made the head of Amazon MGM Studios, and this week that has borne fruit with 2 trailers for 2 films.
Yeah.
Mark, as the head of Amazon MGM Studios, I'd like you to open the discussion, please.
Ricky Stenicki. Yeah. They had me at Zac Efron. It's got Zac Efron, and it's got John Cena. Fucking sold. fucking make it. Do you know what I know it's about? No, wait for the trailer, dickheads. Was the exact fucking pitch they gave me.
Sorry.
Do you know what? I'd have given them more money if I'd have found out what it was about. So, yeah. Did you not watch this one, Rebecca?
No.
So...
I was literally still watching The Colour Purple when Ian messaged to say I'll be 5 minutes.
Really? Because you started watching at like 10 this morning. Is it that long?
If it's that long. I went to see Claire, didn't I?
It could have been.
So, it seems that the premise is that Zac Efron and his group of friends have made up a character called Ricky Stenicki that is a childhood friend so that they can occasionally get away for like weekends and nights out away from their partners. And then it turns out that they have to kind of bring him somewhere because everyone wants to meet him. So they hire an actor played by John Cena, who just gets a little bit too involved with being the character Ricky Stenicki.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He has a better life being Ricky Stenicki than he did before.
Yeah. Just again, when they pitched it, they had me at Zac Efron and John Cena.
It just, 15 years ago, this would have been a film that would have quietly did like $50-60 million worldwide.
Yep.
Would have washed its face, would have done fine. Now it's just shut out
on Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking heartbreaking.
It's
not heartbreaking. It makes me think I need to get other interests. But, there's also, yeah. But I'm glad that you've taken this direction, Mark.
I feel it's the right direction to take.
And your second project, which was unveiled this week?
My second project was the remake, the Doug Liman. He is literally minutes away from taking his fucking name off it. Roadhouse. Not because he thinks it's shit, but because he fucking hates Amazon. Right. I get it. It's a remake of Roadhouse, which is a very fun movie, and I love Roadhouse, but people would say it's not a great movie. I think it is, and they're wrong.
But then you don't like Zone of Interest.
That stars... Yeah, I know, which means that it's probably a better movie than I'm giving it credit for. But it stars Jake Gyllenhaal, looking all Jakey Gyllenhaal and sexy as fuck. And yeah, it's got Billy Magnussen and it's got Conor McGregor in it. It looks fucking great.
Yeah, it looks alright, this.
Yeah.
It looks fun.
Fucking daft as it should be. I'm looking forward to Jake Gyllenhaal ripping Conor McGregor's throat out.
Yeah.
I think...
Isn't that
right,
in it?
don't get me wrong. Conor McGregor's an idiot. Yeah, there's no getting away from that. But I actually kind of like the fact that his first film role is this guy. Is this guy. I actually think that if it pans out in the same way as it does in the original Roadhouse, that it's actually quite fun that he's decided that character is going to be the first character that he's going to play in a film. Because we know he's the bad guy. We know he gets fucking killed. I'm fascinated to see if there's the inference that he's gay as well in this one as there was in the last one, and that he kind of wants to fuck Patrick Swayze. I don't think there will be for some reason. But fuck it, I'm fascinated to go out. Billy Magnussen in always makes a film better. Yeah, this fucking looks great. It's going to be a lot of just a lot of Jakey G with his shirt open or with his shirt off. And I just think that's a good place to be for an hour and a half. I think we can all say that. I mean, the poster was, it was fucking hardening and panty wetting, wasn't it?
Ian, let me send you a screenshot of our WhatsApp conversation when I spent so much tonight.
Yes, please. I'd love to see that.
Oh, actually, no, it's a GIF, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll still get the picture.
We chat a lot of shit.
We chat a lot of shit, Bex. We do chat a lot of shit.
Get in there. Whoop. There we go. Nothing dodgy on there, is there? No.
You try to get a good shot of the GIF.
Yeah.
You're failing miserably at taking a screenshot here, Rebecca. There you go. What other trailers have come out? Because I was so excited by promoting my own shit that I might have missed some.
Does look fun though. Fair play.
Does,
Right. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure you did that on Twitter.
I'm pretty sure I did do that on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. No. Yeah. He uses it on Twitter a lot.
I'm glad I'm not on that anymore.
My Twitter's a wonderful place, Rebecca.
Dev Patel directed a film.
Monkey Man, yeah.
Monkey Man. Right, yeah, let's go. If this is going to be like a less well action choreographed John Wick, but with Dev Patel, sure.
I am fascinated by this movie. It's Dev Patel and Sharto Copley have made a movie. Dev Patel has directed and did he co-write it? I believe he did, didn't he?
I believe he did, yeah.
And it's produced by Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele, yeah.
Go on then. Dev Patel's a fascinating guy.
It's great. You know, he did Skins and he did Slumdog and whatnot. And he seemed to disappear, and now, but then he pops up every now and then. It's like, do you know what? I'm going to be a filmmaker, and I'm going to make some really quite brutal-looking action at points.
Yep.
I'm assuming the second unit director probably did like a lot of the work with that, but that's absolutely fine. I'm very excited about this. The imagery looks evocative.
Yeah.
It feels like a world that is going to be very cool to watch for a couple of hours.
Yep. I mean, it's just... I think he's a fascinating guy, Dev Patel. Mainly because whenever you see him talking about film, he's got some... He really likes film. He really likes cinema. And he talks about it really well. But he doesn't talk about it really well in the same way as for instance, it's fascinating to hear Joseph Gordon-Levitt 10 years ago when he would talk about like Truffaut and people like that influenced him. You like that, but Dev Patel does with this really energetic smiliness to him that is really cool. In a similar way to like listening to Elijah Wood talk about trauma. It's just I like the fact that he's clearly he has no aspirations to be a fucking movie star, but is enjoying the fact that he is in films, that he is making a very good living in the business, and he's an incredibly smiley man, and that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
people should be more smiley. Be more like Dev Patel, who just, and I hope this doesn't come back to haunt us, just comes across as just a nice guy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
you know,
good.
And the more you fucking see him in a suit and bits like that, the more you look at it and go, do you know what? In a less fucking complicated and dickheady world, that guy would make a fucking good Bond.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking amazing. Yeah.
It would. He would make a really fun, but fucking, do you know what? He's fucking wearing the shit out of that fucking suit. I bet he looks amazing in a fucking turtleneck.
Mm-hmm.
I bet if Dev Patel, if you were out for a pint and he turned up in a turtleneck, you'd be there going, fuck, I want a turtleneck, but I won't look that good. I won't look that good in a fucking turtleneck.
I want to look up who his girlfriend or wife is.
Yeah. Because I bet you if she buys him something, she knows he's gonna look fucking good in it. She doesn't need to worry.
Tilda Cobham Hervey.
Tilda Cobham.
Kind of got a bit of the Daisy Ridleys about her.
Oh, don't say that. That makes it sound really dull. She's Australian. Let's have a look. Oh, no, I could see, that being Dev Patel's wife, yeah. Let's have a look. I'm sure I want to find a picture of Dev Patel in a turtleneck. So I bet he just fucking looks great. Yeah, just a lot of sweaters. He's wearing a sweater. Oh, he's wearing a t-shirt and a fucking fedora. He looks fucking great. Doesn't look creepy. I'm googling Dev Patel. The great podcasting this is. A man googles Dev Patel turtleneck. That might bring up some really bad images. Turtleneck. Let's have a look. Oh, he's wearing one. I found one at Ian.
Okay.
Fuck, he looks good.
Dev Patel turtleneck. All right, I'm on it.
I was right.
Doesn't come up on Google Auto Search.
Oh, he looks good.
Oh, hello.
Have you got to the cheeky fucking V-neck orange jumper?
No.
Oh, you will.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, but that's not a turtleneck.
I have a turtleneck.
But you just said, he's got a V-neck orange jumper.
Yeah.
And then it's just his neck.
No, I'm saying that's another one. I'm just basically going through.
Oh, that's just another one. Right,
Yeah.
I was going to say, mate. I thought you didn't understand what a turtleneck was for a second.
No, I've got a turtleneck of him at the InStyle Awards.
Yeah, the InStyle Awards. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
that fucking orange jumper speaks to me. Couldn't wear it.
Yeah.
But man, he looks good.
Yeah, that's a fucking look. That
It
is,
fucking is.
Fair
Guys,
play.
just Google Dev Patel GQ and you'll find it.
Fucking hell, he's a good looking.
He is a good looking man, isn't he?
Fair play. Right.
Smiling like a motherfucker in it as well. Love that.
Yeah. Right. Twitter questions. Real higgledy-piggledy fucking show, this. But Twitter questions, then we're out. Go ahead.
I mean, I think it's going to be good next week. We're all on at the same time next week.
Yeah.
That's going to be nice. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a week.
I did enjoy the Baghead chat, though, to
Oh,
be fair.
course.
It was some good Baghead chat.
Let's have a look. Yeah, Bex explained it to me as we drove home last night, and it sounded fun. Betsy, you're back in the room,
Yeah, give me 2 minutes. Well, not like this.
but you can hear me asking the questions and be thinking of your answers. Dylan Black Lanterns, what is the most annoyed you have gotten at something you have been watching?
It's kind of a funny story.
Is that the one where you threw your coffee at it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, threw my coffee at the screen. Sorry, Cineworld Cardiff.
What are you saying, Bex?
It's probably zone of interest for you, yeah?
No, it's not zone of interest. It was... there's two for me. One was the Babadook, which just... I hated it the more and more it went on. And then at the end of it, when it was just... Oh, fuck off. It can be just kept fucking sedated with a locked door and some fucking worms. Can't be that fucking bad then, can it? Dickhead. And the first time we watched Wild Wild West, Bex, at the cinema, where I walked out during it, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I shouted at Will Smith to fuck off back to playing golf with Clinton, you fucking no longer fresh prick.
It's good.
As it just... I think it was where it's something I said, if they turn up in a fucking spider vehicle, that's it, I'm off. And then the next fucking scene, it was a spider vehicle. I actually watched Wild Wild West a couple of years ago and actually quite liked it. Bex, you almost back in the room? There you go.
I can't remember its name now. That Vietnam one that I didn't speak to you for ages after.
Oh,
Casualties of War.
Casualties of War. Also,
Yeah.
was it Carlitos Way as well?
Carlitos Way didn't speak to me for a few days afterwards
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
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 Used to happen quite a lot, that. I got scared as you watched you in your films.
Yeah.
Yeah. because you know you're an unreasonable person.
Very reasonable. You shouldn't show me shit that you know is going to make me sad.
All right, I won't. Rick Kidd. There's been a trend of acclaimed actors doing badass hardman action roles in their 50s and 60s, e.g. Neeson and Washington. Who of the current crowd of performers in their 30s and 40s do you want to see follow this trend?
In their 30s and 40s?
They're in their 30s and 40s that you want to see in their 50s and 60s just randomly become a badass action star.
Caleb Landry Jones.
Oh, that'd be fucking good, that.
Dane DeHaan.
Yeah, I mean, that's... in that kind of school, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weird gangly ones.
Well, you basically, you guys there have picked you've picked the kind of, like, if you had a person and you had, like, the absolute utmost of that person of, this is the version of them that you want to take home to see your parents, versus the antithesis of that.
Yeah.
For that. Badass fucking action star of people that are in their fucking... I mean, Aubrey Plaza doing a fucking badass action thing in like her 50s could be pretty fucking cool. That could work
Fair.
out pretty fucking well, I think.
Yeah.
Or Anna Kendrick. Anna Kendrick just doesn't do anything for years and just comes back fucking hench. But 50.
I don't think it works when, and it's going to sound bad, but I don't think it works when, like, the female of the species tries to do that. Like, none of them have...
Atomic Blonde was good.
It's fine. Like, and then there's that Jennifer Garner one, and then that fucking J-Lo one.
The problem
it all
is...
just doesn't seem to work very well. Halle Berry's probably come closest in John Wick to actually succeeding in it recently.
Probably, yeah.
On the hench for a second, we haven't talked about it on the show, but The Last of Us, they've cast Abby.
Yeah.
And I really, 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 really hope that girl gets some fucking protein.
Yeah. Like literally that she's just fucking lifting like a motherfucker for the next fucking 6 months.
Like, Caitlin Dever does not scream Abby to me at all.
It's fascinating that
it's really interesting casting.
The
that
visual
is fucking
transformation
hell.
she's got to make for that is something.
And like the thing, that's a part of the character of Abby, and Neil Druckmann is still very, very involved. So it's not like they're going to try and get away from that any. Yeah,
is,
that's
you have it with with male actors who are who get fucking just buff and big for films. Why can't you have it with a female actor?
Hey, look, no, I'm
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a really interesting idea that they've cast somebody who has to bulk up to that role rather than casting somebody who more fits that physique.
That's not going to happen though. Like,
why?
Caitlin Dever's she's an actress. She needs to be able to get other roles after this. Have you seen what Abby looks like?
That's why it's fascinating.
She's like the fucking Hulk.
I know. That's why it's fascinating.
But Caitlin Dever's not going to do that to her body, is she?
Why?
Because
she's
wants
gonna
to be
need
able to work after it.
But she's going to need to get to she's going to need to get to a. I think there's also a cleverness to this, because there will be an awful lot. The way they can get away with it a little bit, and the cleverness is there will be an awful lot of fucking hell. Look at what she looked like to what she looks like now. So you get a falsehood of her looking bigger because the audience has got the visual of that's what she used to look like. So that's what she looks like now.
I think they might go with athletic rather than
CrossFit
build.
versus weightlifter.
Yeah,
Hot girl fit.
I could see them doing that, and like she's just really hardcore cardio.
Yeah, because I mean, like Alicia Vikander
yeah.
pulls off being Lara Croft strong, and she's tiny.
I mean, they should have just carried.
It's a good
cast
argument.
Hilary Duff because she's got buff now. Have you seen this? How buff Hilary Duff has got?
Buffed up.
Hillary Buff.
Hilary Buff, yeah. which I've not seen anybody do as a headline.
Because nobody is as witty as me.
Yeah, that's it. Nobody is as witty as
That is it.
as the punny of podcastery. I'm just proving, Becky, that women can get buff too.
I'm not saying that they can't, but if Caitlin Dever is used to getting pretty little delicate girl roles and then looks like that, like buffed up, she's not going to get any of those jobs anymore, is she?
But maybe she don't want those jobs. Maybe she wants to, in her 50s, be an action star.
Maybe.
I mean, to be fair, Bella Ramsey's got a harder job looking like Ellie in part 2 versus barely looking like Ellie in part 1.
I'm actually quite surprised by how unexcited I am by this.
That last episode really fucking
The
knocks
tail
it
end
out
of the
for you,
series, yeah, it just deviates far too much from the tone of the game, and like it pissed me off at the end, to be honest.
I'm looking forward to the reaction of people. Spoilers for Last of Us Part 2. I reckon they'll pull in the end of maybe like the second episode, Joel getting killed.
Yeah, he will be in it for, I would say, over half the series. Or there'll be a lot of flashbacky bits.
But like the game, it is like he's killed off like pretty quickly into the story.
Is it during the training mode?
Well, because there's a bit of like in between part 1 and part 2, and then part 2, like it basically the title card comes up, and then it starts with Ellie and Dina having to relieve Joel and Tommy, and then Joel and Abby's around, and then Joel and Tommy rescue Abby, and then Abby's like, I got somewhere where we can all go and be safe, and it's the compound essentially where her and all her mates are at, and they kill him. It's actually like really quick into the story. There's not a lot of Joel on screen before that happens. I mean, it's the inciting incident of part 2. So I don't necessarily think they'll do it at the first episode. I can feel like the end of the first episode would like maybe be almost like the game does, where it just introduces Abby almost like a cold open. There's no context. It's just suddenly you're playing as this other person. I feel like they'll do that with the end of the first episode.
Like in Alan Wake 2, when you're just a big old naked fat guy.
Yeah, which is the greatest opening to a game I've ever played. Just what the fuck?
That game looked fucking bonkers, the bits I watched of you playing it.
It's great.
It looked fucking insane.
It is.
I mean, it looked fantastic, don't get me wrong. Like, not like there's a game to play, it looked baffling.
Visually.
But visually, yeah.
Did you watch the musical sequence?
Yeah, she made me watch the musical sequence.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I was like, does this just keep going on?
Because you could just stand there and like the music would just continue, and like if you're watching the screens, they'll just keep on doing the dancing.
But then, like the old gods of Asgard start like gesticulating as to where you should go,
like where you should go, like go over there. Yeah.
I mean, from what the bits you watched and the bits you explained about it, I mean, it's an incredible. It's bonkers where games have gone, and it's really interesting where they might go. I just have no interest in playing them.
Gotta do Control now, Bex.
I mean, I'm back on my Resident Evil shit.
Yeah, all right.
I'll have a look.
But
at it again. I think it's because it's not horror-y enough for me. It didn't grab me last time, and it was also really complicated. I'm not good with.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more sci-fi than horror. Don't get me wrong, but yeah.
I find just using that controller complicated.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they've made it more difficult to get back to the menu screen.
You just press the.
You press the PlayStation button.
But you just, I cannot get to grips with it. I don't like gaming. I don't want to do it. You can't make me.
No one's trying to make you. You're just missing out.
What we covering next week, Ian?
Okay, coming up next week, Matthew Vaughn's Argyle.
Is that next week?
Yep.
Fucking hell.
I'm quite looking forward to seeing what the whole fucking secret of it is, because it's like, once you know the secret, don't let the cat out the bag. And the trailer, it's like, it's time for you to meet the real Agent Argyle. It's going to be a someone.
Yeah.
But who? Like, and I the thing is, the unexpected cameo in a film has become so done now that unless, I don't know, it was like Clint Eastwood.
It's going to have to be somebody, but it's going to be...
Like Tom Cruise. Like, that would be holy shit.
Yeah. But it's not going to be that. It's going to
There's
be
a
like...
part of me
like,
that almost kind of feels like, could it be like Will Smith as some part of like career rehab move?
that could be quite good. But it's going to be someone like Brandon Flowers from The Killers or something like that.
No, but I mean, this is the thing. It's like, if it turns out to be Brad Pitt, that's not going to be very surprising.
No.
It won't be Ryan Reynolds, because that's just very, very done. And it's... I feel like it's got to be someone actually monumental. Like, you even could have had George Clooney before The Flash.
Yeah.
I don't know who... Al Pacino. Let's just have Al Pacino there.
Army
That'd be
Hammer.
fun. Oh, there you go. Oh, could you imagine?
Well, who knows what we will get from the twisted mind of Matthew Vaughn.
That's a little bit of a... Yeah.
The early word is, it's fun.
The thing is, I am going into it going, do you know what? The Kingsman movies are fun. It was weird that he's been talking about saying, oh, we've got the beginning and the end of the third Kingsman movie written. We just need to write the middle. And I thought, pretty sure there've been 3 Kingsman movies already, haven't there?
But Kingsman and the King's Man.
Yeah.
I still want the King's Man too. It's just like, yeah, all right, let's have Hitler in it as well. Why not?
Yeah.
That's fucking such a fucking bananas mid-credits scene. Jesus Christ. But yeah, okay, so we got that, and also American Fiction comes out next week.
Fuck yes.
Don't know how wide.
Yeah.
But now that it's an Oscar, like nominated for a bunch of Oscars, you'd like to think it's going to have a presence.
I would, yeah, I'd hope so. I mean, I've seen quite a lot of trailers for it at Parkway, so I'm hoping that it ends up playing there.
So there we are, Argyle and American Fiction. Should be a good week next week.
I'm really not looking forward to spending 2 hours and 20 minutes in the company of Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bex, you can skip out.
I might.
Yeah, you can, because I will happily spend 2 hours in the company of Bryce Dallas Howard.
Sam Rockwell.
Sam fucking Rockwell.
I know, that is the only thing.
He's going to dance.
You would think he'd dance.
He's gonna fucking dance. I think it's American Fiction is listed as coming soon to Beverly. Has been released on the 2nd of February, so I would think we'll be able to get to that.
I'm sure it will play somewhere I have access to. We got Lottie's belated birthday party on the Friday. Yeah, no, that should be. Yeah, I can get them both in for Sunday. It'll be fine. Cool.
Nice.
Alrighty. So, don't do this a lot. At Film Bastards, at Ian Loring, at Dude Foz, at Bexy Foz, BEXYFOZ.
On what?
On the gram.
On the gram, yeah, that's fine.
There you go.
Can I just very quickly, before we go, because I don't think we've actually spoken about this film yet. Have we spoken about the trailer for Wicked Little Letters yet?
No.
This film looks fucking amazing.
Like, genuinely, it's like one of my most 5 anticipated movies of the fucking year. It looks great.
Yeah, it does.
Sorry, that was just it.
What, just like a community getting, like, what the fuck's going on about like really controversial letters being written.
Yeah. I'm
just really, really excited to see Olivia Colman and Jessie Buckley just saying really, really obscene shit.
That are just finding it amusing. Yeah.
It feels like a Today Ealing Studios comedy.
It does. But I'm just looking forward to them two. Just like the bit in the trailer that got me is where she like to her face insults her and then she says something back, and Jessie Buckley goes, "I liked that," and it's like, "Fuck, all right, I'm sold on this."
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, I just saw that as a coming up soon. I just thought we haven't mentioned it, and it needed a mention.
Nice. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you very much, Ian.
Thank you very much, Becky.
Thank you very much, Ian.
Jason Reitman, your trailers have started coming out. You and Gil Keenan, I know your game. I'm just going to say this and then hopefully play this back when Lottie gets married one day. Lottie has just appeared crawling through the door and is butt naked. Sorry? All your PJs are in there? Yeah. Why did you crawl in?
I don't know, because I thought you were on camera.
You thought I was on camera? Okay, all right.
That's
To be fair, I am in work at this desk on camera quite a lot. Right, fine. I'll let you off. That won't get played. Go on, get some clothes. Chaos. Right. Jason Reitman and Gil Keenan, I know what you're up to, and it smells like bullshit. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.